and get your booty to the polls. Go to getyourbootytothe.org. Is it getyourbootytothe.org, Kim? Hold on.
Yes.
I'm about to find it. I don't care. I want y'all to see it. I talked about it last time, but it's hilarious. But I feel like they did one of the best campaigns I've seen. I'm not even gonna lie. Oh, getyourbootytothe.com. I'm serious. They really, and then they didn't just be like, get your booty to the pole. They were talking about what it is. They were really being real about why you need to go and all that good stuff. So, like, I'll tell you, that's probably one of the best campaign ads that I've seen
ever.
And it wasn't a campaign. It was about voting, period. So whatever it takes to get you out there, I think you need to get your butt out there and vote like your life depended on it, because it does. Hello and welcome to the Bold Black Girls Podcast. I'm Aries.
And I am Kim. New hair. Who this?
Yes, ma'am. Well, went back to my old style because I was supposed to get it done April 7th to go back, keep my faux lock situation going. And then COVID. So I canceled my appointment because I was like, well, let me wait until things look a little different, because I don't think none of us, they had closed down
They did for about a month or almost 2 months.
Yeah. So I was like, we're going to wait, because I was supposed to go to Cuba and I was going to get my hair fresh for that. And none of that happened. So I was doing my own hair all this time, which when I get my Peloton next weekend, I'm not going to have time to be dealing with no natural hair. And for those who are not Black that are listening, listen, okay? We need to talk about this. We've done a whole episode about hair, but it's just so much easier. I can get up in the morning. I don't have to spend that 30 minutes or more dealing with my hair, washing it, doing all that stuff. It's just too much work. And if I think I'm going to be working out, I need to have a method in place, which is this hair, to avoid all the excuses that I'll make that, I'm not going to have enough time to do my hair before that meeting. Because if I go sweating 30 minutes, or whatever it is in the morning before work, now I got to add an extra amount of time to get my hair to look like something or being on video. So we're going back to the faux locks. I feel so much better, even though I am itching because I'm allergic to the hair. I'm always allergic to the hair. And Marvin even asked me, because I already got like a little rash right here. I mean, I'm talking about instantly when this hair touches me, it
breaks you out.
Yeah. So I'm going to put
Do you wash it beforehand?
No, because I get it done there.
Okay.
I don't bring the hair.
Got it.
But I do like a little apple cider vinegar thing afterwards. So I'll wait till it gets a little bit, maybe a couple weeks. And then when I want to wash it, I'll do the apple cider thing. It makes it less itchy.
Okay.
So anyways, I'm super excited to have them back though, because life is just so much easier.
I know. I was like, when we logged on, I'm like, oh, she got her hair back, because I guess I got accustomed to the curly hair and seeing it because I went to the beauty shop. Yes, I know ma'am. I know the person that does my hair. She was clean before COVID, and so she's even cleaner, and she's very selective. So I took my chances. And
it wasn't even that for me. It was just me. I don't want to be sitting there not knowing. It was just the unknown stuff.
Right.
But
right. When you work out, you need this.
Yeah.
Because if you're like me, because we're doing video conferences, right? So you still have to do your hair. It'd be different if we didn't have video. I think we could probably get away with it. And I'm always sweating anyway. So I'm like, I don't want sweating while I'm doing my hair. Then I'm about to take another bath.
And it just, my hair is a process. When it is not in braids, I have to have a certain amount of time available in between the time that I actually do my hair and when I need to be ready for whatever it is. So I have to have scarf time. I have to put a scarf on my head and make it so it can lay down more than edges. Everything. It's a system. It needs to lay down. I need at least 30 minutes of scarf time prior to when it needs to be revealed. So that is the system. So right now I'm juiced about not having to do all that. And I must say, you know, like I just gotta tell y'all, I know back in the old school days, like dudes would say stuff like, I don't like when women wear braids, or they have this opinion about our hair. I hate when dudes have opinions about our hair, but whatever. But guys really, really like these on me. I get so many compliments when I have these locks in.
Okay.
Like I get a little shocked about that because I'm like, usually dudes act like they don't like braids, you know, right? But something with these faux locks, let me tell you, people, I mean, watch, as soon as I post a picture with these that I got these back, my DMs be popping. Like,
my DMs be popping.
Like dudes who forget what you look like. I feel like I got certain dudes that they only hit me up when I post a picture because they'd be like, I'm like, oh, you remember what I look like? That's it's so funny. Anywho, that was not.
And you know what else? I get compliments on faux locks from white people.
I do too.
Lots.
Yeah, I do too.
Surprisingly.
I feel like these have been more accepted. I wear these a lot. Since I started getting them, I feel like, you know how we'll be feeling like, well, braids, that's not professional, and all these like rules about professional hair that I hate.
So Faithful for the Crown Act. Well, it's not.
Well, we don't have it here,
yeah.
So we need to get that done. But these seem to be acceptable. I haven't had anybody say nothing. I really haven't had nobody say nothing about my hair. But anywho, we got a lot to talk about in a little bit of time. So
yes,
let's get to it. Now, first and foremost, you said you did not watch the presidential debate. I'm not mad at you because it was trash city. But what I will say, I was more worried about the debate for Joe Biden because I don't like watching him speak in public because I'm always worried that he's going to say something crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Like he just gonna go off and say something wrong because the last couple times that he's been in the news for what he said, it was always something crazy and it always had something to do with black people. But anyway, so I was like, please, Lord, don't let him mess up today because I don't care. I tell people, y'all know we ain't voting for Trump, so we're not even about to act like we don't know who we voting for. It ain't Trump.
We are not.
I'm voting for Kamala Harris. It's really like I'm not voting for anybody. I'm just voting against this dude, and that's just that. But I think that because it went so bad for both parties, I don't think it. Let me rewind. Joe actually did way better than I expected as far as how he kept it together. He stood up there, first of all, for like an hour and a half as an almost 80-year-old man.
Girl, I'm still in disbelief that they are.
You would have been taking about 3 bathroom breaks.
You know, right? Need a nap.
So that alone, the fact that he stood there and dealt with him, and it was so funny because the boys were with me watching it. They were going in and out like certain parts because I'm just sitting there like, Lord, please. I already knew what to expect from Trump. I knew he was going to use those same tactics of over talking and just lying the whole time, which is what he did. And then, but there were some parts where Trump hit below the belt on Joe, and I was like, I'm yelling. The boys came running in at that point because I was like, don't do it, Joe, don't do it. Because I'm like, oh, he about to go. Because first of all, he said something about Joe's son. In that moment, I was like, now, if Joe, and this is so bad, y'all, I'm sorry, but inside, this is the truth. I'm just being honest. I was like, if he went over there and socked him in the face right now, like, this is some, let me talk to you outside, old man, be like this. you know how they got their fists
I heard about that.
I would not be mad. He probably would have hands down won the election in that moment just by stealing on him. But that's not the way to handle things. And he did the best that he could. Everybody, I think, did the best they could with this, considering the situation. But I think he definitely triggered some heartstrings when he really kept it 100 about his son. He was like, yeah, my son, you know what? He had a drug problem and he's dealing with it and we're working through it and all this and that. Like he really had a heart to heart moment, was like, don't come for my son now. Yeah, he has some hard times, but this is what's going on. I was just like, triggered the
Well,
heartstrings for the first time. I think that was the first time I felt something from Joe. Like, oh, I felt for him in that moment. Like that was some vulnerability that he showed.
I read an article about that, about him bringing that up. And you think about his son's life, like he lost his mother, he lost his sister, and he lost his other brother. So he's really kind of the last one, right?
I just felt like it was a low blow. And I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
right now, say something about my kids. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep my composure together with somebody saying anything about my children to my face. I don't care who you are. But it was just a lot of back and forth. It felt like a reality TV show, basically. I definitely felt like Joe could have answered certain questions better. I think they talked about race for like a whole minute or two, which is crazy considering what we're.
Times.
Yeah, so I'm like, y'all punked out on that. I mean, you definitely should have done better. And I feel like his team, Biden's team, should have given him some talking points to really hone in on that because he needs the Black community support. And
Absolutely.
so don't play with us with that. We're watching and we're listening and all that good stuff. So that was that. Then we find out that our president has COVID-19. So
Friday morning, Friday evening.
Thursday night is
Yep.
when they announced it. And then we've been dealing with it every day since. And today is Sunday when we're recording. I'm sure that by the time this airs on Wednesday, there will be a lot, probably more dramatic things that happen from there because just today, which we are okay, so we've gone Friday. He's gone to the Walter. What is it called?
Walter Reed.
Walter Reed.
Yep.
He's there, which I'm like, okay,
Is he
so
still there?
yes. And the doctor, they basically, the doctor is not giving us the full truth. He's been caught back and forth on like, well, I meant to say day 3, not 72 hours, and I meant to say this, and I'm saying I'm giving the update like this because I don't want it to. I want to keep an upbeat feeling for the team. That's not what nobody asked you to do. You're supposed to tell us what's really going on. And I feel like they're kind of keeping it. Honestly, I was one of the ones that was feeling like he did not have it. I feel like it was all like
it's a distraction.
Yeah, I feel like it was all just something to get out of the next debates because he sucked so bad and did not denounce white supremacy when he had a very clear opportunity to do so. And then he,
so this got was all the distraction away from how bad the debate was and the discussions around that.
Exactly. So I'm like, he ain't got it. I'm like, if he don't at his age and weight struggle with this, I got questions because he is older, he's overweight, and he's in that group of people who, have a higher risk of not, doing well with this. And I'm like, if they try to make it all easy and he took these certain drugs and now he's better, trying to push those drugs to us later. I don't trust any of this. Like, I really don't trust a lot of it. I mean, the only thing that started making me think, oh, maybe he does really have it, was that all the other people who ended up getting it too, that were with him, that were around him, other people that have it. So that I'm like, maybe he does have it. I don't know. And maybe they are lying to us about how sick he really is and all that. Because I'm like, oh, you left your wife at the house. I thought y'all was going to fight this together when you did the tweet that you had it. And then the next day you gone. You in the hospital. So I don't know what to believe about that. Y'all will know more than us by the time this airs.
Right.
Ain't no telling what's going to happen by then. We got that's like 3 days from now. So anything can happen at this point. But what I really wanted to focus on today was like for us to pay attention to what's going on. Like there's a lot happening with all of that. This is pretty serious for us to even be talking about the fact that our president has a disease that is very deadly. Our country is at risk right now We're very vulnerable in this time. The fact that he's not where he, I don't know, we was vulnerable before, but still even more so.
Even more so.
With everything. And the president is not the only thing that's on the ballot this year. So we need to really be paying attention to these local, state, elections.
Even the school districts. Like I was out walking, and the bonds that they have for the school year, because that's where our tax dollars go, right?
Yep.
So we have to choose which one we would like to vote for. Kind of goes back to what we said maybe last week or a couple of weeks ago about Daniel Cameron, that attorney general. Somebody elected him in, and so this is our opportunity to show up and select who we want.
I know that for we have an ad, I think, in here somewhere talking about ballotready.org, which is a great place to go. I was just in here looking, and I think this will be a good time for us to take an hour out of your day this week and really just go through each one. I love Ballot Ready because it will give you each candidate that's running, like their belief system, what they think on these different things. You can learn about each one and make a very, informed decision as you go out to get ready to vote. You also can verify if you're registered, all this good stuff. But like right now, they have the president of the United States. They have the federal candidates there. So president, U.S. Senate, House of Representatives, Railroad Commission,
the Texas House Reps,
all the your county. Some county stuff is in there. Our sheriff, our constable, our different precincts, and our school districts are in there. And then you got your judges,
which is important.
That's super important. So like it's a lot for us because it's all the different districts. But this is pretty important for us to make sure we pay attention to and don't just randomly do. Over the years, I wasn't paying attention to none of this. I haven't been paying attention to none of this until this particular election is when I'm really like getting, and I've done it before where I go in and I'll like for the primaries and stuff, like I went in, I looked at each candidate. I did do it. It's like this year is the first time that I really was like, and I'm not gonna say it's the first time because I have done it before, but like I'm really being more informed, about who these people are because I'm learning the power that these positions have. So we just got to make sure we're studying this and we have what we need for election day.
And it's important to also like check locally when you can start early voting and the locations, because due to COVID, they have shifted where we're voting. Like for you and I, in the city of Allen, I don't know about you, I usually go to the municipal court to do my early voting. Well, now I'm looking at the website. It's at the Allen Event Center. You know that?
No, but I don't usually go there.
Oh, okay.
I go right here to this middle school by my house
for early voting
too. I only early vote, so I don't know what the other one's doing. But yeah, so this is right here by my house. So for us in Texas, tomorrow is the last day to register. Woo. It's Wednesday, so too bad you already missed it. If you listen to this, sorry. But you, if you're registered, I think you also need to verify what Kim was saying about early voting. There's a certain period for us is October 13th through the 30th. Absentee ballots have to be in by a certain time. So if you plan on voting absentee ballot for us in Texas, October 23rd, you need to have that postmarked and all that good stuff. So just really make sure you got those dates together and that you are ready to rock and roll and get your booty to the polls. Go to getyourbootytothe.org. Is it getyourbootytothe.org, Kim?
Yes.
I'm about to find it. I don't care. I want y'all to see it. I talked about it last time, but it's hilarious. But I feel like they did one of the best campaigns I've seen. I'm not even going to lie. Oh, getyourbootytothepoll.com. I'm serious. They really, and then they didn't just be like, get your booty to the poll. They were talking about what it is. They were really being real about why you need to go and all that good stuff. So like, I'll tell you, that's probably one of the best campaign ads that I've seen
ever.
And it wasn't a campaign. It was about voting. Period. So whatever it takes to get you out there, I think you need to get your butt out there and vote, vote, vote like your life depended on it, because it does. Um,
Well, and just knowing that what the history is for our ancestors and what they had to actually endure in order to vote.
oh my God. Yes.
And let's be honest, like black women couldn't vote initially, right? It was men, black men.
Took a very long time.
Yes, and they actually had to take a test. They
Mm,
had to pass a test in order to vote, and so they made it very difficult and challenging for them in terms of the test, because you think about it, a lot of us did not know how to read and write.
yeah.
So,
And they would use all kind of tactics to suppress their votes,
correct.
to make it where they can. And they're doing it now. So don't think that they're not. Make sure you have your ducks in a row. For us, we have like the voter card. I always keep that with me when I go vote, just in case when I give my ID, they have any issues. Bam, here go my voter card. So don't even try it.
Same.
Um, and but yeah, so there's, and people who want to say like it don't matter, my vote don't count anyway. It does. That's why they keep trying to take it away from you. They keep trying to suppress it. They keep trying to mess with the mail and do all these different things and schemes and tactics or whatever to stop you from voting. It is a value in this country as a citizen to be able to cast your vote on what happens to you and your family and your children and all these things. So it's like, get out there, just do it. Not voting is voting, whether you want to say it or not. You're voting.
You're
Again,
voting for the people who are going to help pass laws for the things that impact you, as well as future generations. I mean, because if somebody's talking about let's forgive student loans, hey,
right.
they probably will have my vote. I'm like, what? What'd you say?
All student loans.
Right.
But no, seriously. I mean, and I think that you had a good point about, our ability to vote. And I just think,
it's a privilege.
We talked about this before, as Black women, we have a unique view of the world based
and experience. Yes.
who we are in this country, how we've been treated from the beginning. We were raped constantly from the point of getting on that boat to come over to this country to while we were here, right? With nobody to talk to, no one to help us, no one there to do anything, that our men couldn't help us in those times.
Right.
And we have persevered. We have excelled in so many ways.
Lives. Yeah.
Despite all of that. And we didn't get a chance to vote until way later. I think, what was it? The women's suffrage was what, 1922 or something?
19.
And we were like 64. When did we get it?
Yep. Because that was the 19th Amendment, right?
19th Amendment, exactly.
But
what's the name of that book that I told you? Hold on. Because I want people to, I'm gonna get it. I want to read it. It's called Vanguard. Hold on, because it talks a lot about what I just said. It's called Vanguard. Remember, it was on Coffee and Books.
Oh, yeah.
Martha Jones is the author. Vanguard, How Black Women Broke Barriers, Won the Vote, and Insisted on Equality. I think it's for all. But our view of the world really covers the gamut for many. So when we talk, we're talking about Blackness. We're talking about being a woman. And we can't pick. That's kind of how we started before we started this podcast. We were doing that panel on intersectionality.
Yes.
And what that means, and so many places that we intersect. And if you are an LGBTQ woman, you also are, that's another intersection point, right? All these places where you can have a voice. And when our voice covers so many things, it's like you would think that people would engage us more to contribute to make sure that there is equity for everybody, because we do have that unique viewpoint. As a man, our Black men, they have things against them, obviously for their skin color. But as a man, we're in a patriarchal society, so
Yes.
you already are at the top from just being a man. Period. That's just how we were structured. As a woman, if you're white, you have an advantage, even though you have less of an advantage because of your womanhood. You have a little more of an advantage, a lot more of an advantage by being white, because that's a whole nother area that we can't speak to any of that. But we're able to kind of see the issues on both sides, and I do think that's a uniqueness in the Black woman's voice, to represent more than just one thing. So somebody asked me, I can't pick one because I'm both.
Exactly. And that's why it's important that we have people at the table who look like us, so they can speak to those experiences and those laws that impact us.
I agree, because I do think that, like,
Think
even
about the Crown Act. Think, how do we need someone who can talk about that and say we are being discriminated, because that is the true experience. So if we don't have anyone to push that law to represent us and have them at the table, we need to vote those people in.
Nobody has hair like us. Black women have a unique type of hair. If you're Hispanic, Asian, white, y'all kind of have the same type of hair.
Similar.
It might have a little bend to it, a little curl to it.
Well, you can use some of the same products.
Exactly. Y'all can use the same products, okay? Even within the Black community, we have different hair, but it's a similar type of hair. Like, depending upon how much European influence you have in your bloodline. For me, I have a fourth British, kind of European thing going on. So I have a little more wave and a little, I could put certain kind of gel to lay them edges down. And then some of my sisters that are a more pure blood stream are going to have a thicker, more coarse type of hair. But we probably can all use some of the same products, similar. So when we get discriminated against for what I just talked about, being able to, I'm putting braids in because I don't want to be sweating and all this and that, and then somebody tells me that
because I want to be healthy,
tells me my style is not professional. I'm the only one that's going to have that style. Nobody else is. It's not going to cover anybody. But I had this just happen recently with one of my friends from back home. Her daughter got discriminated against at In-N-Out Burger in the Bay Area. Where she had her hair in braids. It was pulled back. She had a head thing on, and like a little bit of her ponytail was sticking out in the back, like just the ponytail sticking out. And they telling her that she got to go home or something like that because her hair wasn't under the net, whatever that thing is. Meanwhile, other coworkers, we see their hair sticking out of the thing too. Your hair sticking out, but you worried about my hair because it's in the braids sticking out. So these are little things that happen that traumatize, Black women and Black people.
And how old is she? That's what I'm saying. Like, this poor baby.
Exactly. Too young to already be having these experiences. And I'm talking about where her mom and daddy came up there. I mean, people in the community were up there. It was a whole thing. They get on the phone with corporate. They have nothing to say that was worth any value. It was almost like, escalate me to the next person because you're not helping. It was a whole thing. And I'm like, these are things that are happening. Then you got the boy, remember the cutting his dreads off
from here, from Six Flags.
And I'm just like, this is too much.
It is.
But these are the things that we have had to go through. So our view is going to be a lot more equitable to other people because of what we've had to go through and what we've experienced in our experience here. So I just feel like, I really hope that they lean into Kamala Harris as a Black woman and her experience to kind of help with some of this stuff, because I do feel that that is a unique superpower that she'll be bringing into that office. Because it's about time for Black women to have a chance to really like get in there and lead. I think people will be pleasantly surprised by the equity that comes from.
And I believe that as Black women, we are fair. I don't think that, like you said, when we speak, we're speaking for just more than ourselves. We're speaking for everyone. I feel like Black women are always looking out for other people, but I don't as a black woman, I don't feel that same way sometimes. A
It's
lot of times.
get torn. I'm torn a
Yeah.
lot because
Yeah.
we have issues with our men sometimes
Yes.
because they are in their patriarchal feelings sometimes that just don't serve us very well. And then sometimes it has to do with a lack of just healing, period, because we all are broken in many ways. And they just sometimes we're the closest thing close to them, closest thing to them. So they take it out on us. Um, we're starting to hear a little bit more because we are being vocal about the fact that our voices matter and we need to be acknowledged. So I do feel like more black men are starting to kind of stand up for black women, but it's still not, if you're listening to our podcast on audio, we start it off every time with the most disrespected person in America. Yeah, exactly. We are disrespected. We're unprotected. We are all these things. Meg Thee Stallion actually did a little. Did you see her little?
Girl, I fell asleep, so I'm gonna go back. I tried.
I only saw the clip. I saw the clip on the Shade Room. But she did a thing about black women, and she did our little the most disrespected.
I mean, just look at her experience through this, like getting shot by a black man.
I know, so
unfortunately,
sad. Which is like that's the things that people don't understand. I think that are not black when they be like, "What about black on black crime?" First of all, there's no such thing. There is no such thing as black on black crime, or do we call it white on white crime? Hispanic on Hispanic crime? No. Whoever you live next to is who the crimes are going to be. But just because we're not saying that all black people are angels, we all are human beings. And when you in the struggle, I don't care who you are. If y'all all fighting over a piece of bread, we gonna be fighting over a piece of bread, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, whatever you are. Everybody gonna be struggling. So I do hate when they try to make it like y'all killing each other. So are y'all. More white people kill white people than the other way around.
And that's a ploy to distract from what we're trying
to
bring to the forefront.
Exactly. So I don't even know where I got on that, but yeah. So we are torn because we have these issues sometimes within our own community. And then we're also because our allies can be sketchy at times. It's like you're ally until you're not. Like you go in and out,
until it's convenient for you.
Exactly. Because ultimately you may be saying, I'm not willing to give up what I have invested in this so that you can win. Because being an ally for real is saying, I am using my power to elevate you and your cause or whatever it is. But if you still are kind of trying to hold on to yours, there'll be a battle at some point where you got to choose which one. And that's where I feel like sometimes we'll lose, some allies. They'd be like, well, especially if it's like, let's say it's a woman group or something. And then they'd be like, well, I mean, we're not going to go that far because, we got to secure our seats.
Exactly.
And so it's just a lot that we got to consider, as we're continuing to fight, continuing to represent the community, even when we're not being taken care of and protected ourselves. Being for all women, even when all women ain't for us. So it's just a lot of a burden that we carry. We just do.
The burden of proof.
Yeah, but right now I feel like the energy we need to take is to those polls. And even though Ray, Craig, and Earl and them acting like they're not about to vote, get their butts to them polls and get them to vote and try to get as many out there that you can get to go and vote because we got to do it. This is getting even more critical by the day.
Yes.
Now, Kim works out a lot more than me. She's committed to her workout. I'm not. I'm going to be like I said, I got a Peloton, so I'm trying to add some added pressure for the community.
I come over there and get on your Peloton once a week. I want to try it. Yeah. I was like, oh, I got a Peloton in this too. I got a piece in this.
Exactly.
But I do want to try it. I did it when I went to when I was traveling for work. The hotel I was staying at, they had one. And for those who have in their apartment complexes, some of them have the Peloton.
Yes, that's true. That is true. I think, and what I'm learning is the bouginess of the Peloton people. They're like, well, when someone else uses your bike, they don't like their mates even using their bike because they'd be like, it adjusts the, you got to fix the height and then like
Yeah.
all the little things. So I think that some of them will be like, yeah, I mean, I went to there and it was just like, I had to reset it and do all this stuff. So I don't even know. I haven't used it yet. So we'll see next week. But we talked about Kim and I share the same doctor and how we want to better our health because we do both have family history of conditions that are pretty serious, and we're getting up there. So I'm forcing some accountability on my side of the thing, because I'm like, what, that settles it. We're gonna eat better. We're gonna do this. Let's start logging our food. So like this week, we created a little group. I mean, a note to share between the two of us. So we just write everything you eat this week. It ain't no pressure. It ain't no judgment. Just write out what you eat. Because I do think sometimes visually just seeing it. Because I know you'd be like, I didn't even eat that. I don't remember eating that. And I don't really eat that. Okay, we're gonna see what we really eating to figure out what the problem is.
That is right. So
because I'm staying the same weight. I've been staying the same weight for a while.
So I had a hysterectomy, maybe 3-4 years ago.
And why did you have a hysterectomy?
Endometriosis and cysts and really bad menstrual cycle.
She was having so much pain. It was just sad to even watch it.
Oh, I know. And I had lost so much weight. Like I lost weight before the surgery. I want to say 2014. Like I think we have some pictures at the gym.
Skinny back then.
Oh,
I wish I was back then.
Skinny with the big heads. And at that time, we didn't even know we were skinny.
We thought we were still needing to do something. I'm like, man, I wish I can go back to that. Let me start.
Right. I'm like, I would not complain. What they say, I won't complain.
Exactly.
And so after the hysterectomy, they say that you have the tendency or the potential to start gaining weight. So it was over time, like 10 pounds this year, another 10 pounds the next year. And whenever you gain weight, as far as for me, my levels, be it sugar, cholesterol, or whatever, they start to increase as well. But the challenge with having a hysterectomy are hormones. And so you are unbalanced. And that can have a trigger on tons of things like losing weight. You're not producing enough estrogen or whatever.
Mood.
Mood, headaches. Like, because right now I'm like, I have never gone to the doctor this much. And it's all related to hormones.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, so
the same stuff my mom's saying. And I'm like, okay, so y'all dealing with the same type of situation. So we just got to be smarter and better about our health. So we were thinking about that because I'm like, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's
Have you gone to get your mammogram this year?
I had a mammogram this year, actually.
I have to go get mine
because I'm 41. And they were like, yeah, you got to take. I said, I got to come back every year now. Like, what is this? Like, that's old woman stuff. But everything went well. There was no issues, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. I feel like people make it more than what it is. It wasn't that bad at all.
Well, I think this is the case. Technology has evolved, and so the type of equipment 30 years ago,
it don't take as much smashing them down.
Yes, and I'm like, listen, I ain't getting no attention anyway these days, so go ahead and smash it.
Don't smash my shoot. I still want them to be taken care of very gently.
Yeah, so I think we both have our strengths. Mine is consistency with workout. Your strength is
I'm better with food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm better with food.
I had told myself, I was like, okay, every month I try and have a new goal. And my goal for October was really watch what you're eating so you can go back and tell this doctor, look, this is what I'm eating. So it might be hereditary. And that way I can figure out maybe it's not the food. It could potentially be hereditary. And what do I need to do?
Or it could be the hormones. And what do you do to supplement that so that you're not, doing that? And that's true. Because like with me, my dad's side of the family, we have heart problems. And I don't need that. My dad had quadruple bypass. His dad died at 55 of heart disease. So I'm not trying to play with that at all. So definitely we're going to hold ourselves accountable and each other accountable for making sure we are
I
trying to
felt
get
like an
better.
old lady when you sent me that article though. This morning, I
But
was
to cook,
yes, I was like, is this what life is now?
this is life. We're there. Yeah. So we mentioned that also breast cancer awareness. So make sure you get your mammograms if you need to get them and do your checks. I'm not good at doing the monthly thing. I need to do better.
I think I
Um,
am.
about actually checking for that. Also this month is domestic violence awareness month. I think that's something that we kind of forget about from time to time because it may not affect you and your family, but there are a lot of people who this pandemic has not only been affecting them financially, health wise, all that, but also just their safety. Because
Yes,
if you're in a domestic situation and going to school was
your
an
outlet,
outlet, or
work.
work was an outlet, and now you're at home and y'all just sitting around with this person all day, that's scary. And there's a lot of people that's dealing with more abuse because of this situation. Um, I personally, my mom was in an abusive marriage for about 3.5 years, to the point where he was like a stalker. After she left him, he stalked her. He stabbed somebody in my family in front of me and my mom. Um, he ended up going to jail for I think 6 years, maybe three, or I forgot, but whatever it was like cut in half. And I had planned in my mind that when I turned 13, I was gonna kill this person. Like I was really like, I'm gonna get a gun. By the time he gets out, I had all these plans as a child. Like this is some of the stuff that I went through and witnessed. So this is a real situation. And it was times where we went to battered women's shelters, and those people that came and helped us and brought us food, and we stayed there for a couple days, and stuff like that. I thank God for that, because if that wasn't a resource at that time for my mom, who knows what would have happened. We've had to run over to the neighbor's house and just all kind of crazy stuff. This is a real life for people that are stuck in these situations. Um, so I want people to just kind of be mindful that we have more blessings than we think we have by being just safe in our own house.
Yes.
Okay. So, and that does not have anything to do with your economic status. There are women who they got money and they still being
Oh
abused.
yeah.
So don't make it like it's a poor woman's issue or a black woman's issue. It's not. It is a lot of women that are. Look at Melania Trump. I think she functions like a abused woman. Seriously,
She
like if you look at
does.
the signs of there's things you can look for to see if someone is being abused.
And it might not necessarily be, physical abuse. It could
Emotional,
be, yeah, verbal.
all of that stuff. It matters when somebody is talking crazy to you all day, and then you have bought into that thought of like, don't nobody else want you but me anyway. So blah blah, you're fat, you're ugly, like they just talking crazy to you, and then you start accepting it, and probably having your own health issues because of that. It's just a lot to it. So, make yourself aware, educate yourself. You might be able to help some local groups and nonprofits. I know
Genesis Women's Shelter.
we have Genesis House. We have
Hope. Hope's
Hope,
Door.
Hope's Door. What's the other one? The one that I was
I can't remember, but I have
women.
I have some gently used clothing that I am going to intentionally drop off this month there. I just thought about that.
Yeah. So I mean, and these are things where I thought I actually was connecting with one of our local ones and seeing about the kids. Because for me, I think about the children of this situation. A lot of times people think about the mother, which I think about the mother too, but also if they have children, how traumatizing this is. This is one of those things where you watch let's say it's your father beat your mom, you might grow up to be an abuser, or you may grow up to become abused.
Abused.
I know that for
That's what
me,
you saw, and that was the norm.
even in my innocence, I came from kind of a violent upbringing. So my first instinct would be, like I said, if Joe Biden slapped President in the face, that's in my mind. Like, I'm serious. These are things that I had to like heal from. I had to learn from. Like, I still get triggered by certain things that make me feel like violence is the first thing to, like You know, I mean, I'm not out here punching nobody or fighting anybody
Right.
or doing anything, but inside I'll be like, ooh, like that
I
will be,
wanna.
yeah. And it's like, so you have to like deal with that stuff. And I'll tell you, there's family members I know that they grew up and ended up getting abused because they saw somebody getting abused, and you're either going to go one way or the other, as a kid. So it's real. People were talking about what's his name, Chris Brown. His mom had been in a domestic violence. That was her life, and he saw that.
And
So
he
why
saw
would not
that and
he?
he emulated what he saw.
Exactly. This is real, and I think people act like kids
I
don't
know.
remember things, or we
Oh, they
see this.
do.
They are watching you all the time. So, um, anyway, if this is something that's passionate, you're passionate about, please make sure you go and reach out to any of your local organizations that do this. I definitely think we need to bring more awareness to it. Just through support. Like I was talking to them about like doing a hackathon or doing something for the kids where we could like really provide some type of service to these kids that are, they might be in a shelter and they're not getting any, outside influence. They're not learning how to code. They're not learning how to do these things because they're in these
Or
situations.
any type of exposure.
Exactly. So, anywho, just want to make sure we discuss that. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. And
Yeah.
exposure, and it also might be a lack of love, because that person is being abused. They think that's what love is. And they
Yeah.
may need to be shown, these kids, what real love is.
And not even knowing how to show it to them. They obviously, for you to be in this situation, there's a lot of mental issues, things that go on that you deal with in order to stay in that situation. You might be like, I don't have anything where else to go. I don't have money.
I'm not good enough.
I don't have any support. I have nothing, and so then you don't love yourself. Now your children are also lacking that because you don't know how to give it to them. They're seeing this behavior. It's just so much. It's a cycle, that goes on. That's not good. So we want to make sure that we definitely pray for people who are in those situations, but also, if you can contribute in any way, make sure you do that in your local areas. On a good note, we finally activated our Bold Black Girls Tribe group so that we can study together. Kim is putting the visual of the book up on the screen if you're on YouTube. 10 women. Okay, what is it called? When Women Pray, 10 women in the Bible.
2 women of the Bible who changed the world through prayer.
Yes.
And Lord knows we need that right now. So you got the book for us to read. I picked it up. Was it Wednesday? I think it arrived maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. And so I was like, oh, this is my love language.
Yeah.
So before I went to work out, I was like, I'm gonna come by and grab the book. So I read I think it's the foreword. I think I read or the introduction. So I haven't started reading the chapters yet, but the first chapter is on the first two, Hannah and then Mary.
Okay, so what we'll do is today is Wednesday on the podcast, when you're listening to this, Sunday. So hopefully you listen to this before Sunday. We will read the first chapter by Sunday. That's not a lot, guys. Take 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, the chapter, exactly. When you wake up.
Right. It's only, what is it? Like a couple pages of chapter. It's not that many. The book is not huge.
Chapter 1 is probably about 15, 16 pages, which is not a lot.
Okay. So what we'll do is we're gonna record either live in the tribe or I don't know where, Instagram. I don't know, whatever's easiest. Maybe we'll do it in the group. And we'll discuss that chapter. We'll take like a 15 to 30 minutes, 15 to 20 minute, and just talk about what we got out of it or what we liked about it or whatever it is. And we'll just break that down. I just think it'd be good for us to just start that as that'll be our little side series.
10. So we have 10 weeks of this. We'll be doing it.
There you go.
which
and
should
we'll learn
probably
more.
take us to the end of the year if you think about it.
True.
Almost towards the end.
Well, we need all of it.
Oh Jesus.
We need it all. So we'll
I'm
just
thinking about the election.
oh my God. So we definitely gonna need it regardless of what happens. We're gonna need it either way. So if you want to join in on us with us reading the TD Jakes When Women Pray, get it on Amazon. They'll send it to you really quickly. And then join us in the Bold Black Girls Tribe group on Facebook. And that's where we will go live and talk about it every
I
week.
love it.
Every Sunday. We'll make that a Sunday. What did it? Super Soul Sunday?
Super Soul
Like
Sunday.
this will be our. We'll come up with something a cool little catchphrase for it, but we'll do that.
Well, our first lady preached about bold faith, so
Listen, she preaches. Y'all, look, go to One Community Church on YouTube. Our first lady is the bomb.
she's very dynamic.
I'm really procrastinating. I need to get her on because she got some faux locks now. I was like, okay, you.
know.
I was loving her faux locks. I need to reach
She
out to her.
said she might not ever go back to short hairstyle.
Listen, I know she won't. After living this life, it's something different. I'm gonna hit her up though. I really want her to come on the podcast because she's just full of gems.
Awesome.
And just,
and I love how she will use an analogy for something so simple.
yeah.
Her son having allergies and medicine, and she will just turn it into something you're like, you know what? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
She's really good with the analogies. And it's just so down to earth. Like she's just like talking to one of your homegirls and she'd be like, girl, let me tell you what, this is how it is. And the Lord, this is what he does for us. You know, you'd be like, okay, I can relate to this word so much better. So when she does Bible study every other Wednesday, and then when she gets the chance to preach on a Sunday, I love it. So yes. So we're in the bold, we're being bold Black girls by using our voices where we need to use them. And right now the focus is using them at those polls. And we really, 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 really need all of us to get out there and vote, and don't leave nobody at home. Try to get as many people as you can to go and vote. All right. I think we kind of
covered
it, and also call to actions. Number 1, vote. Number 2,
research who you're voting for.
Yeah, do that first. Then vote. And then I would even say make yourself aware of these other things, like with the breast cancer awareness.
I was just gonna say, go get your mammograms, schedule your mammograms. And even like with the domestic, like you said, where can I fit in to use my gifts? There's a gift that you have within you that you were put here to bless somebody else. Exactly. I told someone there are so many people without jobs now. One thing that I've thought about, because we're doing it at my job, they were talking about the food pantry. Okay, well, I used to go out to lunch 4 or 5 times a week. I can take some of that lunch money and donate it to the pantry.
That is so true. And that's so good. Like our church, we just did it last week in Denton. We did a food. We collaborated with the food pantries and gave away a bunch of food. We did it the month before. Like we've been going county to county doing that. So I really love that. And that's also another thing. If you're not tithing or giving to your church, you should start, because that's actually a way that you can contribute to your community if your church is doing that kind of work. Our church does a lot of different things. So us supporting the church is supporting the community, exactly, which is what it's supposed to be like. Like we can
they do a really great job of that. You see the money. I mean, I thought about this morning, like with the fall festival that they usually have that they put on for the kids. Like that's a whole production. Like to me, that's like the fair up north. Like if you make the fair, if you get over there, you'll make it. It's like he uses the money to reinvest in the community as well as the church.
Yes, he says that he wants it to be a lighthouse. He wants it to be like the community would miss out if they feel like if we weren't there. Like we should be feeling like they should not be like, they're like, we need to keep, one community over here. But also that our homes are lighthouses. That's
That
kind of
is
the mission
true.
that we've been on now with everything going on. He's like, don't rely on this building, but rely on your house should be a lighthouse where people can find out more about Jesus and stuff like that. So I definitely agree with making sure that you donate to your churches, your local churches that are in the community that do a lot of this work, and then it will be spread across, so many places. So, anywho, make sure you rate and review the episode, rate and review the podcast. Go to boldblackgirls.com, get your Bold Black Girls t-shirt. And we are on YouTube as well for those who are on podcasts. Either way, vice versa. However you want to listen to us, you can do it. Anything else you got, Kim? Any final words?
No, don't forget to read.
Don't forget to read. And we will see some of y'all next Sunday in the Bold Black Girls Tribe group so that we can talk about Hannah. I like Hannah. That's one of my. All these were good ones.
Yes. I was like, though, where was Ruth? But I know she's connected to
Naomi's
Naomi.
there.
Yeah, but we always talk about Ruth and everything else anyway. And I might wear my Squad Goals shirt. It has all of like Ruth, Mary, Esther. Is Esther here? You have to hit Esther. I probably need to update it because it's a little snug.
You silly. I need one too then. Get me one.
Okay. That's what we do. Let me find that.
All right, y'all. Well, you have a bold week and we will see y'all next time.
Next week. Peace.